How much work we go to bring these entertaining videos to Kathy and the masses. Hi, Kathy.
Uh, huh. Actually, so I put us on live stream, but on Facebook it's saying this content isn't available right now.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'll bet you it will be though. It will be.
Hopefully, I'm just gonna send, oops.
Yeah, I think it will be. Maybe they'll take a moment, but sometimes it does. And if not, so be it. We're just here to entertain Kathy then.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly send a message to Fareed.
And Fareed is our fantastic, fabulous tech guy, and he helps us out every time we were like, we don't know what we're doing, which is basically every time. We're a little needy. We're like, Fareed, help us. So Kathy, how are you? Oh, she says, bonjour, madame. I'm lining up some viewers for tomorrow's Spooky Paris. Yes, thank you. I'm going to say merci because I'm in France.
Okay, so I sent Fareed a message, our tech guy, our wonderful tech guy, because we have so many technology issues, me and Tracy, all the time. So hopefully he'll get back to me, and it looks like we're live on something, so let's just get started, I guess.
Yes. So today's just kind of our general Paris chat, which I really like because we can sort of cover any topic we want. No theme necessary other than, I guess, Paris, but
yes.
And I have a couple things. You have a couple things.
Yeah, I like this event. And the weather right now, to answer Kathy's question, it's hot outside. I don't know what the temperature is, but I haven't been out today yet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess you're from Texas. How can you think it's hot? It is. I'll tell you, I have a...
Well, I've been here for like almost a year now, so...
Oh, I guess it is kind of. It's in the upper 70s. I haven't left the cook, so I don't even know. The flat.
I'm checking right now. It says 73 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, I thought maybe it was warmer than that. Okay. That's a little chilly.
Yeah, but there's no air conditioning here, so it feels...
I'm going to take a sweater for my terrace restaurant visit tonight, so...
Yeah. Wait, so Tracy, yes, tell the story. You're going for your first dinner in like 3 months tonight.
I know. So as some of you may know, Paris was in confinement for a while, and then recently they just opened up restaurants for terrace or outdoor seating, cafe seating outdoors. So most restaurants kind of offer that a lot of times anyway. And some restaurants got real scrappy and decided they were going to create their own outside areas, which I applaud, absolutely. French ingenuity at its finest. And sometimes you wonder, I don't know if exactly that's what this the government meant, but they seem to not be having too many issues with it. But so tonight is first dinner out, and we're going to Le Coucou Cafe, which sounds adorable. It sounds a little silly. Some of the words when you say them in French do sound a little bit silly, but the menu
people say hello like cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Yes, somebody said that to me the other day. I was like, how did you know? But I didn't know I was saying hi.
How did you know that I'm crazy? It's like loony bin.
So I'm going to start saying that. If I ever say cuckoo to you, at least I know you know. But so anybody else, if I say cuckoo, it's just me trying to be
cuckoo.
Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna live it up because I've been basically cooking almost every day for the last few months, which I love, of course. I mean, I'm a chef, so it's not like it bothered me. I really like it, but
you're a chef?
Yes.
Wait, what? You're a sommelier and a chef?
Yes. Yeah. So I went to culinary school back in the 90s before you were even a twinkle. Before Kathy even thought of you.
Okay, you told me you went to culinary school, but for some reason I kind of thought that was for wine. I don't know how I got that mixed up.
That was self-schooling, a lot of self-schooling. I went to culinary school in the 90s, and that was out in the Bay Area in like San Francisco area. So
have you ever gone to a cooking class in Paris? Because they have like English speaking ones that I think you'd think are fun.
I might want to go to one that's just French speaking and just see what happens.
Yeah, because like you're a real chef, so it would be like a probably a beginner's class because you're cooking with someone, but since they're French, it would be a totally new experience. It
Yeah,
might
it
be
would be
cool.
tough because I have a little bit of an ego like most chefs. Not a raging one like most, but I can be a little. mm, mm, mm. But it would probably be fun. Maybe that would be kind of an interesting. Did you do a blog on that, or maybe I can.
I did a few blogs where I said it would be a good idea to go get a lesson in that at like
Yeah.
Le Foodiste because that's the one I went to. And when my parents visited me, they went to that one as
Okay.
well. And they take you on like a market tour and then you cook with them.
What is
And
it called?
Le Foodiste, like
Okay. Okay.
food in English, but IST at the end.
Oh, so they kind of
Um,
is that like a shampooing or footing, like where they take an English word, American
yeah.
east or ing on the end of it.
Yeah, and Kathy is asking, I think she's asking you, Tracy, because you're the chef, what markets in Paris do you visit or do you just go to stores?
So I like to go to the cheese place down the street. I did better when I was just a tourist here. For some reason, I've developed a little bit of an apprehension now that I live here. Because when you're just visiting, whatever, c'est la vie. You can go in somewhere, and if you're aggravating or annoying, you're never going to see them again, most likely. But I keep going to, like, I go to the boulangerie down the street, and I've been told it doesn't matter. They're not going to recognize you, and they don't care anyway. So, which is probably true.
They do recognize you
They,
though, if it's your neighborhood boulangerie. Like mine recognizes me.
that's because maybe you speak French, and so they're more tolerant of you. Do you think?
Well, they're not tolerant of me, no. They like they kind of see me coming, and I thought it was just me because I'm American. I do speak French to them, but I thought maybe like the accent bothered them or something, or maybe it was just their thing. But
Yes.
they're rude to people I've brought there as well, and they
Oh.
recognize all of us, and
Oh, well, thank God
yeah,
the bread is and pastries are worth it. And I really
yeah.
will say that. I can tolerate a little ass kicking for the quality that you get. It's totally worth it. I'm like, I bend over, I'm like, go ahead, whip me. I don't care. Just give me the bread. Just give me the bread. Give me the pastries.
Wow.
Yeah. But I like to go to uh when I can. They have the markets that are outdoors. Gone to
Uh-huh.
a couple of those. They didn't operate for a while because you couldn't really gather. There's a little market that features only basically relatively local produce from farms and things like that, and it is in near. Well, I guess it's technically the Marais, but it has like a little restaurant or a little cafe where they use the products that are there, and you can really they have just these baskets sitting outside with. A lot of the produce still has dirt on it even. It's
Hmm.
pretty amazing. Which actually I've noticed when I go to the Carrefour here, the carrots, they have a bin of carrots that with dirt all over them. And why did I not think of asking why? It's amazing. I just sometimes just stand there and stare at carrots with dirt all over them. I don't think that would go over in the United States. I'm happy about it, but it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I was really freaked out by that when I first moved here because I was like, there's dirt on everything. The quality of these fruits and vegetables aren't good. But I kind of realized in America, they inject everything with like chemicals to make it look
yes,
good or taste good.
yes.
So,
Much less of that here, I've noticed, much less. And the produce is
yeah.
actually a lot of times less expensive here, even. And the cheap everything food wise. I don't know. I had there was the rumor before I came here that food was more expensive here, and it isn't. It really
Mm,
isn't, and the quality is better. It's definitely
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, I
really
like to
good.
go to the markets outside. I did before I was mostly stationed here in the 13th. I went to it's Rue Bussy where they have the cheese guy there is awesome. He's kind of he stands behind the tables, and he's got his his compadre out he's like on the phone the whole time. I don't know, talking cheese, I imagine, and doing deals. And
Doing
the other
cheese
guy stands
deals.
behind. Yeah, it's the cheese dudes. And so basically you can, walk up to the table and he starts like just offering you and you're like, no, 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 no. He almost forces you to eat it, and then you eat a slice and you're going, oh yes, thank you so much. But then you're afraid, is it going to be so expensive? I think I got almost 5 pounds of cheese for $30. And we're talking really good, like one of them it had these wild forest herbs. It was wrapped in this crazy ass leaf from, I don't know, Corsica somewhere or whatever.
Wow.
It was incredible. It was incredible. So don't be afraid. That's what I would tell people. Don't be afraid to really go to the markets, go to the food stalls and the food stands. It's not as scary as it may seem. And you can kind of eat your way along most of the streets,
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to go in the morning though. That's why I've always missed the markets. Cause like there's one by Rue Mouffetard that I've always gone later and it smells like fish afterwards.
Yes.
So I guess it's a fish market. And then my old roommate used to go to the one by Pigalle, I think. On Barbez, she said there was one there that was really big with like, and she had this avocado that was ginormous and it was super green, and I was like, oh my god, I have to go.
Oh yes, oh yes. They have a lot of things here. Most things that they have anywhere else, and then they have a few other. I have to look what some things are. There was this thing. It's funny because I have all the breeze going through. I don't know if you can hear my doors is like opening.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I'll do it for Spooky Paris tomorrow, or Spooky Paris talk. I'll have the door creaking the whole time.
Oh, perfect.
But, yeah, that'll be good. Ghost. So it was like there you can buy fresh loquats and there's something called Bear's garlic, which is this amazing wild garlic of the woods that has this delicious, like super good herbal garlic flavor. I mean, stuff that you don't find in the United States, you definitely find here. So she was,
I don't even think I've heard of that before.
The Bear's garlic, I guess. Something Dior's, I guess is Bear's. She said, with Les Foodis, we went to a market near Rue Mouffetard area, and it was wonderful. Just don't help yourself. Oh, have your manners. Don't help yourself. Yeah. Good advice, Kathy.
Yeah, there's probably a culture around markets that I don't even know because I haven't gone to many markets. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely like a little culture around everything here, I feel like.
Yes, and you just have to really sit and observe and get the lay of the land kind of thing, like how do I behave, how do I act, and best to show a little restraint until you kind of get the idea, and like you were saying, the seafood place, that's incredible. You walk along the street here and there's a poissonnière, poissonnerie, something like that. Uh-huh. And all of a sudden you just see these big giant tables filled with crushed ice and scallops in the shell, big scallops, and so many different types of crustaceans and fresh whole fish. And again, the prices are generally even less than the United States. I mean, you can there's like a big wooden bushel basket full of scallops in the shell, and it was like $18 or something. It was just incredible, and fresh. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. See, we all get sidetracked on food. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, food's the most important thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Speaking of food, I know you were telling me about the biggest farm in Paris. I want to hear more about this.
Okay, so, and I had heard about it, and I don't think it's been around all that long, but why it popped on my radar again is that now they've installed, so it says a brand new perchoir rive gauche installed on the roof of the largest urban farm in the world. So first of all, I didn't even know that it was the largest urban farm here. But so apparently a perchoir it sounds like perch, I guess. Maybe that's the rooftop, a perchoir. It looks incredible.
What's it called again?
So it is, I think it says in Le Perchoir, Ménilmontant. But I think Ménilmontant is, oh my gosh, hold on. And of course I try to translate it, so sometimes it gets a little confusing.
Okay, I found it.
So this is new. So the farm itself is new. The largest urban farm in Europe settles on roof of Parc d'Exposition in Paris. So it's literally at the I guess Parc de, and a ton of fruit and vegetables produced per day.
Wow.
And I love it. Plots of land rented to individuals. That's one of the most wonderful things that I've noticed about Paris is even though it's a city, people try in every little area, every nook and cranny of rooftops and median strips to have greenery. And so now, I mean, there wasn't a lot of community gardens, but now I guess this big urban farm, people can have like a little plot of land and have a community garden here so they can still, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, I don't know, this place is so big, but with all the parks, it feels like you can still be in nature if you want.
Yes.
And now even more, you can be a farmer if you want as well.
Yes. Isn't that amazing? And
they call it Agropolis.
Oh. Agropolis?
Huh, interesting.
Agropolis, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, and like you were saying, the city is just dotted with all kinds of. I mean, you can be walking and just on a little corner, you're turning the corner from one street to another. There'll just be like this little triangular green park with some herbs growing in it or something. You really don't feel like you're in this concreted city. You do have a lot of nature around, and there are birds that sing, so you still don't, you don't feel completely removed. So yeah, I really like that. You can park your butt anywhere and have a picnic. I mean, that's like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I see a little mouse behind you. Is that what I'm seeing? A mouse with a parasol or something? Is that what it is? Hey.
Yes. So
hey.
This is it's a Banksy. It's done by Banksy. And Kathy is asking, ladies, I just read that Eiffel Tower will open June 25th for tours up the stairs only. Is EXP1 opening for tours then?
Yes.
We are opening for tours very soon. I believe we were talking about mid-July, but it's not confirmed yet. Maybe earlier.
Right.
So
let's hope. We'll have to clone ourselves
hope.
Because we have to do this, and then we have to go back to doing that, and then we have to do the blog posts. We just need more of it.
I'm gonna miss this. We should still do this.
I think so too. I really
and then yeah, me too. I love these conversations about Paris.
I've learned more
in
this time because it was confinement. So I've learned so much because we couldn't go out and do too much. So I've learned so much just sharing, what the stories that you're telling me, and then like with Maureen, it's like now all of a sudden we can be out of confinement, and I have all this list of stuff that I want to go just barrel through and do. So I really loved it.
Yeah, no, me too. I feel like we've been writing blog posts as well on the Experience First website. If you go to the website, go down, there's a link to the blog. We've been making blog posts this entire time, and during confinement when it was super strict and I was writing about Paris and like feeling obsessed with Paris, it kind of felt like I wasn't in the city, I was researching it, and now I've woken up and I'm in the city and I'm like, oh my God, I know so much more about this place, because it was a good way of sort of traveling there without being able to go outside.
And do you have your list of all the places that you want to go to now?
Yeah, I mean, I have my list in my head of like cafes and stuff that I'll look at. Or like I just have a bunch of places in Paris that I'll never look at the same. Like the conciergerie.
Yes.
I'm never gonna look at that the same way. With like the clock tower. We talked about it in our other live event with Maureen, Spooky Scary Stories in Paris, about how they tortured people there and all this stuff. And then there was this man who walked a lobster. I don't know where that was, but I'm never gonna look at like pedestrians in Paris again. I'm just expecting to see that.
I saw
But
somebody walking a dog after that, and I was just was thinking lobster. That's
yeah. Lobster. I mean, it's not too far off from being a lobster. It's true.
that's right.
To answer Kathy's question though, she's saying, now is that Banksy's work in Paris? And if so, where? I got this from online, but because I'm gonna be speaking about right now, I'm gonna tell you. So, actually, before coronavirus happened, before the big outbreak, everything closed. There was actually a Banksy exhibit in Paris, and they closed it down, and now they've reopened. They reopened in May. And it's 100 works of Banksy at the, what's it called? At the Center Expo Lafayette Drouot. It's like Centre Expo Lafayette Drouot. It's in Montmartre. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh, it's in Montmartre.
Yeah,
Shoot,
that's what it
just
says on
there.
the map.
I was just there.
It's this that's just, no. Well, it's in the 9th arrondissement, and that's just
Okay.
the street name is Faubourg Montmartre.
Okay.
All right, I successfully wrote it down. And so there's 100 pieces of his work in a space, I believe it's 2 floors. And for example, you can see there's 2 cops kissing. That's one of his famous ones that's there. There's the little girl with the balloon. I'm not going to spoil other ones, but for kids under 12, it's 12 euros, and for adults, it's 14 euros, and you can book online. And they actually extended the time you can go. It closes in December, so like December 31st of 2020. So I thought, cool. I'm excited now that everything's deconfined and museums are reopening. I'm excited for the expositions and exhibits that were closed specifically for the pandemic, because now they're reopened. I know, Tracy, you just went to the Atelier de Lumière, and they had, who was the artist they were showing again?
Well, they've changed it now. They recently have a new exposition, but they had Van Gogh. You know,
okay.
just, yeah, I mean, so you basically entered, and I mean, it was just on a constant loop of Van Gogh, and then it had this beautiful like section. I mean, maybe 10 minutes of projected Japanese, a lot of times aquatic themes. So it'd be Van Gogh all around you. I mean, you're just immersed in like the sunflowers. And one of the coolest things is it's in this this atelier that it was a factory. I think it was for iron or steel. So they have these pools, these concrete rectangular pools, and they put a little bit of water at the bottom. So when it's projected, it looks like, you know, they had projected fish down there, so you can actually see the water, actual water reflecting, and it looks like fish are swimming. It was incredible. And you can go to it. There's a mezzanine that you can look down on it. There is this one little enclave room where they have something else in there, and you just it was a surprise visit. I didn't know what to expect, but it was probably one of the best exhibits I have seen maybe ever, because there's soundtrack and music to go along with it. You know, like some contemporary music, and then some very, you know, symphonic music, especially when there were waves crashing and fish jumping. It was incredible. And now there's and I'll type the name of the exhibit, but now it's like something about being immersed in blue. So I think it's, you know, ocean, like you're under the ocean or something. That was amazing. Yes, très cool, très cool, très cool. Oh, it's not cool. It's cool, très cool. Yes.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
And you did a blog post recently about that, I know.
I did, and I added to it. I added a video to it. I had to have a chance to get the video to upload to it, but so it was just a picture. But now you can actually go in there and you can see you can see it happening. It's like a 360 view. It's fantastic. And
Wow.
yeah. And I want to go back there now and see the new because they just reopened. So I want to go back and see the new exhibit.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. It says Voyage around the Mediterranean with Monet, Renoir, Chagall. And it ends the 31st of December.
Oh, okay. So it goes for a long period.
So that's what I think it's what you're talking about, like being immersed in water, being immersed in blue. I think that's so cool.
And then it's very affordable. I want to say
it's like 10 euros, right?
10 euros, something like that. Yes. And you can stay in it as long as you want. And I mean, just on this loop, like I said, maybe a half an hour's worth. So you can just kind of hang out. Yeah.
That's
totally
so cool.
Great date night thing, or date day into night. Like very
also, I don't know if you've ever been to the Marmot Museum, but they have a Cézanne et les Mets, like Rêve d'Italie, so Dreams of Italy by Cézanne. So you should go to that. I actually went to the Marmottan Museum like earlier this year, and it was amazing. I forget the artist who does this, but let me show you this mug.
Every time you ask if I've been somewhere, I laugh because I'm like, no, I haven't been anywhere. I'm like, nope, I haven't been there, but it's on a list now. So Marmiton, is that what it is? I'll type it. Maybe I get it right. I don't know.
So the woman who painted, this mug.
Oh.
Do you see?
Yes.
I need to figure out what her name is. Like right now I need to find out what her name is. But her art is amazing,
Slides,
and
you can point at it on your phone if you have a Google Slide. I think it's Google Slide app. Google Lens, and you can actually open it and point it at and press the screen, and it'll tell you anything about that image. So if you can't find out,
wow, I don't.
Yeah. It's pretty spectacular. I know part of it, you're like a little unnerved. You're like, how does it know everything? But
yeah, how does it know? I mean, I can look it up. I can say like because basically the story about this woman is amazing. She was a maid or like a house cleaner type. That was like her job. She lived in the quarters of like the maids' quarters, and she was just a maid for a house. And she had major mental like health issues, which at the time they didn't really pay attention to or cure. She was a bit like Van Gogh, like a little bit like ahead of her time, I would say, because she was using like pig's blood and other things for natural pigments in order to paint that, and she would just paint in her maid's quarters. And I believe this man started financing her art, so she was able to get more supplies, but she never got rich and famous. Berthe Morisot. Let me quickly look up. I'll just look up the description and see if it's her. Because I thought that was amazing, and they had all of her work. And no, I don't think it was Berthe Morisot. No, it wasn't. That's Manet's wife. This woman was like clinically insane, went to the mental hospital, she didn't end up, it wasn't like a good end of life story, but the art that she left behind is amazing, and they had it at the Marmottan Museum. And it was amazing. So I think if like whatever they have going there, whatever exhibits they now have or what they did have, you can't go wrong.
Okay, that's on the list too. That's definitely on the list. Okay, so Marmottan Museum.
Let's see.
Hopefully you can find out. Like I said, if not, I have the Google Lens app. We can just aim it at there. And I aimed it at this chair, and it told me all about this chair. So
we could try it. I mean, that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, it'll tell you about the cup, or it'll tell you about the art on the cup. Too bad this isn't the unusual stories in
Seraphine.
Paris. What is
It
it?
was Seraphine.
Oh, dang. How does she know
Let
this?
me see.
You can't put anything over
How
on
does she
Kathy.
know? Yeah,
Kathy knows.
how do you know all of this?
Kathy knows.
Let's see if Kathy knows. Let's see if I can share my screen.
I keep looking down just so you know, because apparently this is another thing that's interesting about Paris, because everybody's windows face each other. You can see into people's apartments and stuff all the time. That is amazing. Wait, come back, come back.
Is it it's loading.
Yes.
Oh, where'd it go? There we
Ah.
go. See? And then
Oh, wow.
the Seraphine.
That's beautiful.
There's this one, and it's crazy because in real life, her work, the pigments that she uses are so
Rich, and look at
so vibrant. Yeah, they're
it looked
so
like you
vibrant.
could plunge into that and just it's all fuzzy, like feathers and things. That looked amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like she had no training. I'm pretty sure there's a movie about her as well, because she kind of has an amazing story, even though it's kind of lonely.
Yeah.
But I was just at that museum and I was just looking at it for 10 minutes, like just at one painting.
Yes.
So
the color is beautiful. Really beautiful. Yes. So that's on the list too. I have basically little Post-it notes all over the place of I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, there's a Post-it note on the floor, and it's like it's a partial list of all the things that I want to do now that you can go do things again.
Also, looking it up, I made a slight error. It's not the Marmaton Museum, it's Mayo Museum. So I wrote it down in the chat. Okay. Yeah, because I forgot her name, so then it led me to the wrong museum. But that's another museum that's amazing, and maybe her work is still there, so you can even see it.
Okay, well, we'll look at that one too. Oh, we'll do a comparison. Which museum is better?
Oh my God. Kathy says there is a film. Camille Claudel was in the category of female artists who went insane. Oh, I don't know that artist.
Yes, that's a good. She said, "How about a tour of the works and lives of crazy French female artists?"
We should do that.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm down. We have a totally other different event called Unusual Paris. We should just do that, like cover all the unusual things.
Yes, let's do that. Maybe it's Tuesdays. Yeah. Let's do a little research and maybe cover that on, and maybe not just artists, maybe if it's also like musicians or whatever, just, maybe that we're a little off, a little, considered, maybe considered a little out of the ordinary in their time, or that would be great. Let's do it Tuesday. All right. Join us Tuesday.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I actually just took a note of that. Kathy says, that is a fabulous film too, starring Isabel Adjani. I don't know. Adjani? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
Isabel Adjani. Yes.
Rodin was her teacher and tortured by putting his name on her works. Tortured her by putting his name on her works.
Rodin.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I think I've seen some of her work then, because I went to the Rodin Museum in Paris.
No bueno. You say, oh, sorry. No bien? No bien?
No bien?
I don't even know. I start pulling out
it's
words.
It's pas bien.
It is pas bien?
It's pas bien. It's not no bien.
No, I said pas bien then subsequently. I said, but I don't know. What do I know? I just pull out words. That was right. That's like the first guess of any French word combination that I got right out of nowhere.
I'm proud of you.
No, I can speak French now. It's very obvious. Yeah. I've learned French.
And then tonight during your dinner, just like drink wine and speak French, because apparently when you drink a little wine, you start to speak French more fluently. That's like the joke that we all learned in my French classes.
And if your dinner if your dinner guests drink more wine, then you're even more fluent. And just keep drinking and how I mean I become smarter and more fluent and all that stuff.
Just keep drinking.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself.
For your live event on Wednesday for wine, because it's very educational for anyone who hasn't seen it, but in the future, when we go back to work at the Eiffel Tower and everything, we should, at one point, I'll try to we can drink a little wine and then try to speak French and experiment to see what it's like speaking French with wine. Because I know that's like it's a big thing among French learners. They're like, oh, I'm only fluent when I drink wine.
Oh, so has that theory been put to the test for you?
In the past, yes. I remember 2 years ago when I was studying abroad, I was at the Seine and there was this very, very drunk, rude French guy, and I got really upset and I started speaking French fluently. To get him to get away from us.
That switch was flipped and you were like, and let me tell you thing. In French though.
Yeah. I was screaming to get away from us in French, and I wasn't thinking about anything I was saying because I was partly scared. It's not a great story, but it's kind of funny because the moment he left, my friend who's from America looked at me and she was like, "That was amazing."
You're like, thank you
and
very
I
much.
wasn't. Yeah, and I only had a little bit of wine to drink. It was early in the night, and I was living in France at that point for 6 months, and it literally just clicked.
It just clicked.
So, yeah. So it'll click for you too.
I can understand it a lot better, obviously, but so many of the words sound the same. Countless words sound the same that I need to have the visual, because again, they just leave the last 1 to 3 letters off of a word completely, and it's like, that's not fair. That's just rude. That's just rude. You can't do that.
I remember I was another story at the Seine. I was around these people. They were in a circle speaking French, and I thought I understood everything that was going on enough to go on my phone or do something else. But then I heard someone say they were saying a sentence with words, but sounded to me like Gerard Depardieu. And I was like, did you just say Gerard Depardieu? And they all burst out laughing because it was like they were talking about where to go next or something. Or no, I said, let's go over there.
You're like, we're going to see Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, because someone said that and then someone repeated it back to them and I kept hearing it. I was like, why are you talking about Gerard Depardieu? So,
and they're like, oh, Madeleine, just go back on your phone.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, one thing that Parisians do understand, they do understand American curse words. That is true.
Yeah.
And I know
That's
this
true.
So because
true.
I bicycled through Paris and I had to use a few of them. That is something else. I don't know if you've ever bicycled through Paris. I would not recommend it. It is, I mean, at some point you're going, are you just going to drive through me? Do you feel like maybe you can somehow ignore physics and I'll disappear as you turn the corner and just run through me? It's like, what's happening here? Do you go to kick their car? Or I mean, I'm not saying I did, but I'm also not saying I did.
Oh my god. Road rage.
Yeah, and they're yelling at you. I'm going, I'm on a bike, dude. Like, how can you yell at me? I'm squished over to the curb on a bicycle. You cannot yell at me. And I have to yell incomplete sentences all the way, and then I just end it with a 4-letter word. you know, kind of situation. But,
Yeah.
oof.
The Kathy is asking, are there those rentable scooters in Paris now? We do have rentable scooters, but I've seen more the bikes, and you can download an app about it's called Velib. And then you can have access to the bikes, especially if you have a Navigo. It can just be put in with the Navigo price, or otherwise it's just like €1 per hour. And I've only biked around Paris once because I'm not a very good biker. I biked as a kid, but I
Different.
forgot how to do it. You actually can forget how to ride a bike,
Yes. Oh.
apparently. Um,
Well, in the
but
United
during
States,
the
you're just
strikes,
riding, you know, wherever you want, and that is not how
yeah,
it goes here. You're
yeah,
a
like
car.
just riding through the little neighborhood streets and like kind of gliding. But I've never ridden with like public laws or anything. I was just a kid. So I've only ridden here once, and it was at night, like around midnight-ish. So I didn't have as many boundaries, I guess, or things in my way, you know? So
Yes.
if I was at a red light, I was like, what's stopping me from going on the sidewalk? So I went on the sidewalk and would go through the red light. And then when there was a like another stop sign, I was like, I can be a car. So I just kept on. I got home in like 20 minutes when it would have taken like 40 on on the metro or in the
Yeah, it is
car or something.
faster for the most part because it is
So
small. I mean, it's Paris is kind of small, but you get to, you know, like an 8-way intersection. That's
yeah.
some confusing stuff, and you realize, oh, I am riding, and this is a bus lane, and there's like just a bus that's like, and I mean, you can feel the breeze, and like I can't, you know, and you go in between a car and the curb, like there's a line, and you just go in between it. Well, I don't, but I mean. I'm like, I'm following you, so I'm gonna be way, way back here because I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. I'm just not doing that. But yeah, and it's like, I really wouldn't recommend it because even in major cities in the United States, it's not as confusing as it is here. It's pretty
Yeah.
confusing.
And like another app to download as well for transport if you don't like biking, because I'm not a biking person or a scooter person. You can download the RATP. I almost said RATP. RATP app, and it shows you the train times for the metro and the RER, and it's like it's the best source other than City Mapper, which is really good.
Yeah, I find Google Maps does a pretty good job because you can choose whether you want to walk, use the metro, take a cab, all these different, you know, you hit directions and it gives you all these different options. The only thing there's an issue now is that there are a lot of stops that are closed because they're doing work on them or whatever. So sometimes that doesn't update that way. But that's, you know, the metro is extremely consistent and it's usually just your best bet versus versus biking or scooters or, you know, I've never used the
Yeah,
scooter, but
but
belly,
there's
yeah,
tons of ways.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty easy to get around here and walking. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
things aren't always that far away. So
yeah, I've been walking a lot, but we have a minute
oh,
left.
ooh, I want
You
to
can catch
which
us tomorrow. It's for our spooky scary stories event with Maureen. It's 6 p.m. for Paris. I don't know what time that is for anyone else.
well, noon. I know noon, and then 9 Pacific time. Yes. Yeah, Marie. I
Noon
don't know what we're going to talk
EST,
about.
11 a.m. Texas time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what we're
Yeah.
going to be talking about. Marine's going to surprise us. Usually we talk about it a little bit before. She kind of gives us, well, she asks us, and then we always say, don't give us too much information because we like to be surprised. So we generally don't even know what we're going to really be talking about. So, you know, we're always relatively shocked by some of the things that she talks about. So I love that. That's such a fun.
Yeah, and then on Saturday we're also going to the Marais.
Oh yeah. We're gonna do. It's gonna be Facebook Live only because that has much better video display, but we're going to do, because it's Pride Month, so we're going to do a foray through the Marais and just try to find some drag queens, try to find some fabulous people. Maybe we'll have to be the fabulous people. I don't know. But Marais is full of interesting things all the time. So that's going to be really fun. That's at 7 p.m. Paris time, so 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 Pacific, so 11
Texas time.
Yes, that's gonna be fun.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Kathy's like our co-host these days.
Yeah, she is. We should like unmute her and then see what she has to say.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, you're gonna
Sammy's
get unmuted
here.
one of these days.
Yeah. Okay, well, she goes, yikes.
Yikes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Au revoir, merci.
Au revoir.
Catch you tomorrow.